All right, it is time for the behind-the-scenes weather model discussion here for Friday, November the 18th. How's it going, everyone? William Cole here in the Storm Studio. Hopefully your Friday is going well. Of course, we are coasting right into the weekend, and this is the bonus content that we like to do every day, giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how we've been putting together the forecast of the day, not so much using the TV graphics, but truly looking at the raw data with you, kind of sifting through it here over the next few minutes. And again, we put this on our social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So again, if you're seeing it there, be sure to give us a like. And again, also feel free to comment below. Let us know where you're watching from as well. But again, we've got a lot going on today. Also want to give a big thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Those of you that, again, have signed up for $2.99 or more per month. Again, you help make this segment possible. You also help to support our mobile app and our live channel as well. If you haven't done it, feel free to think about it. Patreon.com/WeatherTrackerTV. Like I mentioned, just $2.99 per month. Again, you can help support this, but again, also our mobile app and our channel. And again, if you do that, obviously we do appreciate it as well. So we've got a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and dive into it here. Number one, we had an Arctic front. It's basically moving through the area. This is a modified Arctic air mass moving in. You can see the thick gray cloud cover now developing. That is a shot you can see there of downtown Dallas. And even as we look at temperatures here, you can see the front, it's moving through the area. Now, the really bulk of the cold weather, right? This is, for us, it's a modified Arctic front, right? The air mass is modified. It's warmed. Even though it's cold, it's still warmed from where it was to our north. But the bulk of the chillier weather is going to, the really cold weather, I should say, is going to make it to the Red River. We'll be in the 30s tonight, 20s, 30s. We'll be in the 40s tomorrow. Temperatures 20 degrees below normal. Yeah, it's going to be cold, right? But take a look up in Oklahoma. Even take a look out in our Texas Panhandle, out around Amarillo. It's only 26. Dodge City, it's only 24, right? So still a big temperature divide, and simply put, the 20s you're seeing for daytime highs off to our north, those will not make it into North Texas. So again, it's going to be, for us, it's going to be chilly, but this is not necessarily going to be a major cold blast for us as well, okay? We'll put numbers with all of this coming up. You can also quickly see, we'll just go through a couple of these and we'll really get into it. You can see the front moving through the area, right? We've got lower 40s up along the Red River. We've got still some 50s down in our southern counties. The bulk of what we call the cold air advection, right, where we transport the chillier air mass, it's just now beginning, and this is why I say that. Take a look at the winds here. You can see the wind speeds to the north up along the Red River, even now here in the Metroplex, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Take a look at the winds in our southern counties. Calm to 3, right? So the air mass is not moving. In order to move in a chillier air mass, what do you need, right? or even a warmer air mass, and we're maybe talking about a warm front, you need wind, right? The wind is what transports the air mass. So as the winds are now beginning to pick up, it's pushing in from the north, obviously, that chillier air mass. So that's why our southern counties, it's still warm. That cold air advection regime just has not started down in those counties quite yet. The other deal is, it's a pretty gray day out there. Let's go and take a look now. This is where we're going to dive in to the raw data here. And kind of cool, because there's a couple things going on. Number one, if you look carefully, and hopefully you can see it on your screen there, very high level streaked cirrus cloud cover moving from west to east. Again, it's that very thin cloud, right? It's at the higher levels of the atmosphere. That's the actual jet stream motion, right? Coming around a storm trough, moving through the area. The other blobs of gray that are just kind of expanding and really aren't moving, that's the low gray stratus cloud cover that's now building in. And that's going to be there as we go through the rest of the day, this evening, tonight. It'll linger for a little bit tomorrow. I think we will see some peaks of sun. But again, for a lot of us, the day is now turned gray. It's getting later, obviously, in the afternoon. We're doing this right around 3:30. But the remainder of the day, this evening, it's going to be gray. And underneath some of that stratus cloud cover, as we get into the overnight, there may even be an opportunity of a few snowflakes. Again, we'll talk about that coming up as well. So you can see, even as we look at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, we like to use the 500 millibar chart. We almost always start this segment with this because it gives us the overall setup around the nation, right? So number one, you can see a big, deep storm trough, and it's diving down even into the southern plains. So it's a big old huge pocket of chilly air coming down. We've got one storm system, a little short wave. You can see the small dip, and the cold front that's moving through our area, believe it or not, is actually associated with that smaller shortwave trough. Then we've also got, you can see a bigger dip out across the Great Basin. Believe it or not, even though it looks like it's semi-close, that storm system out in the Great Basin, it's going to lumber its way through the weekend towards North Texas. It will be arriving on Monday with possibly an opportunity of some showers and some cloud cover again on Monday. But it's going to take its sweet time coming in. But also, if you notice the little wind barbs there, notice how those are moving from west to east. Right, you can see how they back, right? They look like, it looks like a little F, right? Kind of like a backwards F. So those are what we call wind barbs. So that's giving us the direction of the wind at the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere coming in. So what we just saw on the visible satellite, right, with the jet stream streaking through with the cirrus cloud, again, we're also seeing that there with the wind barbs as well. So again, just kind of piecing all of this together. And again, right now for us in North Texas, we're kind of in between storm systems, so to speak, if you will. So most of the weekend looks dry. The only exception is going to be overnight behind this front. Again, there may be an opportunity of a few snowflakes. Accumulation not anticipated, but we'll show you that data coming up momentarily. Could be a few raindrops as well, a couple sprinkles associated with that opportunity as well. What I want to do quickly here is I also want to do this, right? This is also the water vapor imagery. And again, you're also seeing in the water vapor as well, right, the motion of the atmosphere, right, that we were just talking about from west to east. And you can also see within the big deep storm trough that I was talking about, look to our north. Look at the chillier air up in Canada in the northern tier. Where's that moving? It's moving south into the trough, right? So you can see everything to our north is feeding down. And so again, that's why when we have that front coming in, we have all that chilly air to the north, and it's just kind of getting reinforced coming out of Canada. Now this pattern will change as we get into next week. Next week looks quite a bit milder, but it may be very short-lived. And the first part of December still appears to be possibly turning pretty chilly, maybe even chillier than we've just been now. So again, more on that coming up. So quickly here's the convective outlook. We always look at this. Down along our Texas coast, there's going to be an opportunity of some showers today. There's going to be heavy rain down there tomorrow. No severe weather, but there could be some thunder. But the Texas coast does look quite active, especially tomorrow. Also notice up across parts of PA, far northwestern Pennsylvania, and again also up around the Buffalo, New York area, ongoing, a very heavy lake effect snow up there. In fact, the Buffalo area, you probably saw this on the news already, 6 to maybe even 7 feet of snow, and in fact they've already declared a state of emergency up there. The reason it's highlighted in green, again, this is the convective outlook. This is just an opportunity not of severe weather, but of general thunderstorm activity. It's because there's thunder snow. These are convective bands of snow ongoing up there. And again, if you've seen any of the video, I mean, it's thunder and it's lightning, it's rocking and rolling. You would think it would be heavy rain and hail moving through. But as it turns out, it's actually heavy convective bands of snow. So if you haven't seen it, Google it, look it up on social media, whatever, and it's quite a phenomenon going on up there. But again, just very, very heavy snow. There's the day 3 outlook, and right now no thunderstorm activity forecasted. This time of year, it becomes a little more typical, right? Convection, thunderstorm activity becomes a little more sporadic at times. Okay, so from there, let's go ahead and dive into the model data, right? We've kind of set everything up. I'm going to go ahead and do this zoomed in view. And what we're going to start off with here, this is the 500 millibar chart as well. And this is the European models, right? So earlier when we looked at the 500 millibar chart, we were looking at currently what's going on. Now I'm going to take you out over the next 10 days. We'll look at the upper air. We'll look at the opportunity of air mass change. We're going to look at precipitation. Then we're going to look at the high-res data quickly as well. And again, talk about the opportunity of some flurry activity. What we're looking at here is the opportunity of storm systems inbound, something that could give us active weather, right? So number one, the first thing, again, watch out in the Great Basin. Watch as I go over the next several days. Again, you'll see that storm system out there really taking its time. There it is. I mean, it just lumbers its way all weekend, right? There's Sunday afternoon. There's Monday. So there's storm 1. That's coming through. We'll look at that. It should give us an opportunity of some showers, right? And then behind that storm, it pulls away. Tuesday, Wednesday. Here we get into the Thanksgiving holiday. There's Wednesday. And look at what we have here. We have one more storm that's coming down. but the timing is slower and slower, right? We are going to have a little front. You can see this, right? We're going to have a little weather maker coming through this. Our other storm system that we had really been watching for is now dragging its heels, right? It's coming in even slower. And then the other storm that was going to, and when I say the other storm, I'm talking about if you watched this from yesterday, right? All this data changes every day. It changes every 12 hours. So we talk about this from what we last talked about, right? So every day we're kind of reanalyzing our overall setup, okay? So if you didn't watch yesterday, that's what I'm talking about. But also yesterday, this storm that now appears to be out over the California Baja, if you remember when we were talking yesterday, it was just to the west of Texas, and it was potentially going to be producing heavier rain to the south of us, right? So you see how each and every day these little weather pieces of the puzzle, they come in different areas, right? It's never locked in when you're looking out into the future, and that's why your forecast is always changing and evolving, right? So again, let's go and roll this back into motion. So there's our storm. And again, you can see it still makes it through. That's going to be late Thursday into Friday. Okay, so we'll look at rain chances for Thanksgiving because that's the big question. Will it rain or will it not on Thanksgiving? And the data's been back and forth. So truly that would be storm 2. So we got something for Monday. We got something Wednesday, Thursday, Friday-ish kind of. It's got a pretty deep storm trough with it, so we'll look for any cold air with it. And then see that other little ball coming out. Finally, it's been stalled out there in the California Baja. Now it starts moving. That would be Sunday. Takes a low, slow track down towards the Rio Grande Valley. There's Monday, and that's 10 days out. That's where everything ends, right? Okay, so we're 10 days out. That's where everything ends. But one thing to notice here, look at what we have developing. Outside of all of that, we have a bit of a ridging pattern. That would be a bit more of a mild pattern, okay? And we're going to look at the air mass coming up momentarily. But remember, a ridging pattern, milder, a dip, especially this time of year, means chillier weather, okay? So as we're looking out into the extended, we're trying to get a feel of what to expect even past these 10 days because the last several days, the data has been pointing that just past 10 days, things could be getting pretty chilly again, right? So let's go and put that back into perspective. And this will be air mass change here with the 850 millibar chart. Here comes our front for today, right? We know about that, okay? Next system coming through on Monday. Let's go and take a look at that one. Notice how the chilly air with this storm trough begins to retreat off to the northeast, right? So here comes the storm for Monday. It's coming out of the Pacific. It's not necessarily tapping into any chillier air. It's not that temperatures go back above normal, but we don't have a secondary blast of chilly air with that. There's your Monday, right? We're cool, but we're not. There's no cold blast coming with that one. We'll put real numbers with this coming up. Okay, so we go forward in time. Here comes our next system diving down, right? Diving down out of Canada. You can see there will be a cold front associated with that one for Thursday and a Friday, but truly it's pretty skimpy and the bulk of the chilly air stays to the north, right? See that? We don't get a big push of chillier air with that, okay? Then after that, we know we're going to go into a ridging pattern. Look at the, okay, so see the milder temperatures build back in. That's by about 8-9 days down. And now let's go about 10 days with that next storm system coming out of Canada. There's still a bunch of chilly air building in, but look at that ridging pattern. Out 10 days, this is not a guarantee now. At 10 days, we have cold air moving in, right? Because you can see the cold air up here. This is real Arctic air. I mean, this is a blast of really bitterly cold stuff. When is that going to get dislodged and come south? At the end of this, where it looked like yesterday, maybe that was going to become dislodged. It was maybe going to start rolling south. Not necessarily that it would, again, be a major cold blast here in North Texas. We'd get a front with it, obviously, but it'd mainly be the northern tier that could get bitterly cold. The newest data today is basically showing we've got a huge ridge across a good part of the nation and the cold air stays bottled up into Canada. That's where the data ends at day 10. If you extrapolate that out 11, 12, there's not going to be a big enough change that that's going to become dislodged, right? We've got one storm system that's coming in here. That's of Pacific origin. It's not necessarily going to tap that. So right now, the newest thinking today would be, again, 10 to 14 days out. It's a pretty mild pattern across the nation. So you see, whenever we're talking about the extended forecast, right? Whenever we're talking about 10 to 14 days on down the road, I mean, every day, I mean, it's almost just a game, right? I mean, it's just a chess game that you're playing. And again, as we do this tomorrow, again, the data will completely change. At some point, the data begins to come together and you kind of get at least some semblance of data that is continuous that you can begin to put your extended forecast together. But right now, especially this time of year in the winter, late fall or heading into winter, the data typically in the extended is all over the place, right? In the summer, it's a different story. Summer, it's a persistent forecast. You don't have to deal with all this. But again, the late fall, winter, into spring, this is what we're dealing with. So again, it's just kind of a guesstimate right now. We're looking at it, but today, really, we don't have any more, at least, cold blast in the immediate future, right? So we'll get through this one today, and after that, again, around Thanksgiving, there's going to be a front in the area. It may not be overly chilly for us, and after that, it might be smooth sailing for a little while, right? So if this continues to verify like this, there might be some smooth sailing. We'll look at the actual numbers with that coming up momentarily. I just got to watch the time. I've really got to hurry today. We've got to get the rest of our forecast on the air coming up here in just a few minutes. Okay, let's go and look at precip opportunities. The one for tonight we're going to come back to because we're going to look at the high-res data, the opportunity of snow flurries. We'll come back to that. The main reason why global models, this is not a future radar product, right? This is just giving us the signals of who may see rain down the road. At 60 hours out, we can start using high-res data, and that will give us a future radar depiction, right? So there's no reason to use global data when you're within the realm of the high-res data, if that makes sense, okay? So here we go. Let's go and take a look at our Monday, right? That's our next storm. There's early Monday. I've still got a 30% probability. You can see a few showers. The coverage may be a little bit better to our south, like down in Hill Country, maybe like down around San Antonio and Austin, and then back down towards the Rio Grande Valley. But here in North Texas, up the 35 corridor, a few showers on Monday still look possible. Monday looks to be pretty gray, pretty cloudy, and kind of damp, right? It's not necessarily going to be heavy rain. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at Thanksgiving now, the latest on that. As that system dives down, yeah, I mean, it's just, I've kept a 20% opportunity as a placeholder because a lot of folks are trying to make plans. I mean, Wednesday is typically the busiest travel day of the entire year, and the data has been so back and forth on this. Again, one day we have rain, one day we don't. Today we're basically back to no rain, right? There could be a few showers in the area. So right now I'm keeping that 20% as a placeholder. So when people see the 12-day, they're like, well, maybe it'll rain, maybe it won't. But again, if we start seeing this on a day-to-day, right, we get the consistency that, well, maybe that system's slower, it's further to the north. I mean, our Thanksgiving here may be dry, right? And even in the region, again, if you're traveling around the region, may not be a big deal. If you remember 2 or 3 days ago now, I mean, we had what almost appeared to be a heavy rain event unfolding on Thanksgiving. So again, you can see just how quickly things can change. Okay, so let's take you through the end of the 10 days here. And after that, there's going to be at day 10 with that system. Remember the one that finally comes out of the California Baja. It takes that low, slow track down through the Rio Grande Valley. There's rain to our south, basically dry here in North Texas. So outside of Monday, truly, other than just a couple 20% placeholders, because we don't totally know about Wednesday and Thursday, it's flip-flopping on us every 12 hours. There's not a lot showing up, right? We may have the flurries tonight we'll take a look at. We've got some showers on Monday, and then it's basically a dry forecast, and it's basically a milder forecast as well. That would not be bad heading into December. Let's look at the high-res data for tonight. Again, talking about the flurry opportunity. This is the HRR model, right? The HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh. And I'm going to go to the extended version of this. And this is just a future radar depiction, right? So as I run you through this, there it is. You can see the area blue. And again, the lower levels of the atmosphere are extremely dry, right? And so even though there's going to be some snowflakes falling, they're going to have a hard time making it to the surface. So we're just mainly talking about flurries. In some locations, like in our southern counties, there could be a few raindrops. As we go forward in time here, I mean, this is looking less and less and less, right? So again, if you're going to be out late tonight, maybe you're heading to Deep Ellum tonight or wherever else you go. Again, if you're going to be out late, you may see a few snowflakes, right? It's not going to coat the roads. Maybe an elevated surface like on the fence if you leave your car parked out overnight. Maybe a couple locations could see a dusting. I think here in the Metroplex, we won't even see a dusting. Again, we're really just talking, about a few snowflakes around the area. So this really doesn't look like a big deal Again, it's kind of our first few snowflakes of the season, so for some folks that's a big deal, but again, this is basically just a non-player. Our southern counties tomorrow, I put in a 20% opportunity. There's going to be so much showery activity to our south, again, like down in Hill County, Anderson County, Henderson County, Navarro County, not impossible. Tomorrow afternoon, there's maybe a stray shower down there, right? But otherwise, that's essentially it. And then there you can see at the end of this, we're getting a little bit closer to that Monday timeframe when we will have some showers in the area. Let's go and take a look at the numbers, right? This is the numerical output, right, from the model data. And basically everything we just talked about, right? Earlier when we were looking at the 850 millibar chart with air mass change, when we were just looking at colors, now these are the actual temperatures to go with it. And again, tomorrow, 48, about what we've had. So tomorrow's chilly, right? We know tomorrow's going to be the chilly day of the weekend. DFW has not had their first freeze officially of the season. Most of you have. The airport has not. Love Field has not either. So 31 Sunday morning, we're going to try and get our first freeze of the season officially at DFW. We pull out of the hole on Sunday, 51. Monday, 52. That 52 on Monday could be a little variable because we have the clouds. And if we get the showery activity around, sometimes the temperatures just don't move, right? It's cloudy, it's kind of damp. Again, there's drizzle, there's showers. So we'll see about Monday. You know, 52 based off the data, okay. But again, if it looks more showery, not impossible, we stay at 49. But it's not necessarily because there's a big front coming through, right? After that, next week, there it is, right? We moderate back into the 60s. We have the ridging pattern. Look at that. After we get past Thanksgiving, that ridging pattern puts us back in the mid to upper 60s. That would technically be above normal. And if we take that out past that 10-day marker based off of where we left, there's no immediate intrusion of chillier air coming back down, at least with the data today. So those mid to mid upper 60s may continue out, 11, 12, 13, maybe even 14 days, right? Until we get another big pattern change. So we're going from a pretty chilly most of the summer that we've had. We'll have a couple opportunities of showers, so at least Monday. We'll see about the one on Wednesday and Thursday. And then after that, we warm up and there's no immediate opportunity of rain. So other than the fact we need more rain, we would take that. The fact that now we're beginning to see a bit of a warming trend on the horizon, I don't think we're going to get a lot of complaints about that. So we'll see. Like I said, that extended piece this time of year, as we talk about this tomorrow, again, it could completely flip-flop and we could be talking about more chilly air on the way. So it's always kind of a bit of an asterisk on the extended part of the forecast, late fall, winter, and spring, right? Because it's just more variable. In the summer, you can almost lock it in out about 14 days. There's just not a lot of movement. There's not a lot of changes going on. So that's where we are, folks. Again, like I mentioned, thanks for joining us here for our weather model discussion, our bonus content that we do like to do every day. Be sure to give us a like or a comment below if you're seeing this on social media. Also, make sure you download our free mobile app, Live Radar. My updated 12-day forecast is on there. Also, breaking weather alerts and, of course, a ton of other things as well. It's available in the Apple iTunes Store, the Google Play Store. Just search Weather Tracker TV. Again, it is completely free. And again, also a big thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Again, if you haven't done that, feel free to do it today as well. Patreon.com/WeatherTrackerTV. Again, for as little as $2.99 per month. Again, you can help support this content and, of course, our mobile app and our live channel as well. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Stay warm out there. And again, we'll talk to you later on. Of course, I'll have your full forecast coming up on our channel as we head into the evening.